have water now when I'm not doing that, so don't worry.
Better have some for the session tonight.
And and once again, like a guy who woke up realizing his table is full of crazy people, I'm once again hosting another show with the Circus of Chaos. I'm your host and DM Carson Pavel, and welcome to a late edition of the FTT podcast, where we are going to be continuing our look at the Crooked Moon book that just came out earlier this month. And we have a special guest today. We brought one of our players on, the lovable Ping, otherwise known as Nephra Windseeker, aka Neffy.
Hello, hello. I am Nephra Windseeker, your local potato goddess of dragons, and I am here.
Yes, don't. Are you the Eldritch Potato Goddess? Reference
Maybe.
to our campaign.
Maybe.
Oh, that was a deep cut. And once again, we have my co-host, Chitter Charmer, who is also joining me once again to continue our loving adventure into the Crooked Moon book and to later on continue our adventure into the world of Magic the Gathering with our Lost and Found in Ravnica series. But today, we are talking about... we are continuing our talk about the book, Crooked Moon, and we're looking at more of the subclasses. And in the interim time, since our last episode, I've been researching a lot of the world of Duskvault, the world that Crooked Moon is set in, and I got to admit, I'm actually really surprised at how well thought out the lore is for the world itself. And believe me when I say this, we're going to be definitely going to have to dedicate a whole episode to that as well.
Yeah, Druskenwald is a whole nother thing.
So,
yeah.
Carson,
Yes.
I want to ask you something. And this is not meant to be like to take over the Ravnica campaign, but this is me judging how you feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this question will obviously come up from other people in the party.
Okay.
But if it's possible, would you incorporate Crooked Moon into this campaign, into Lost and Found in Ravnica?
So that's a good question. Reading the book, I could see a way that it could be introduced. We have several Gothic worlds, like Innistrad, and of course, Duskmoor. The thing is, with the way the lore is set up in Duskvold, I would say that would have to be its own separate plane of existence. But here's the thing, in recent years, we've seen that Magic the Gathering has been doing Universes Beyond stuff, so it's not outside the realm of possibility, because they already did a set with Baldur's Gate, and D&D in general. So I wouldn't put it for Magic the Gathering. Yeah, they did that. They did 2 sets of D&D books.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's what's cool. The second set, Battle for Baldur's Gate, had all of the characters that made it into Baldur's Gate 3 as cards. So you could have all the companions that were their own legendary card. Karlach, Gale, Will. I forget Will, because Will has no personality.
Sarian?
Oh, he's there too.
But the main reason why I ask that question is because for those who aren't following our campaign, like those who see this on YouTube and aren't following our campaign, we just exited Innistrad with a major plot hook left behind. We're not going to spoil what that is here. Watch our campaign, dorkhead. But we left behind a major plot point that very realistically could lead us back to Innistrad at any given point. Would it be conceivable that instead of going to Innistrad, we go to the Crooked Moon world?
The Druskenwald, yeah.
It's possible. And honestly, I might actually incorporate that because... No, I'm not saying that we're obviously going to go that route, but just hear me out when I say this. In our campaign, one of the things that makes Innistrad so cool is the Gothic horror aspect of it, but here's the thing. It's kind of hard to build Gothic horror into a D&D campaign if you don't have something to work from. Not to say it's impossible, but Gothic horror is vampires, it's zombies, it's werewolves, it's like...
werewolves
it's like Eastern European folklore. And I hate to say this, but as someone who didn't grow up with it, it's kind of hard to incorporate that. The most I could probably do is be like vampires and werewolves, because I'm familiar with that stuff. But there's so much more we could be doing. And the thing is, Innistrad does kind of match Duskvold's mindset, because you have the people who live in the Keswick area in Innistrad, they are basically hermits, alchemists, crazy people, religious zealots. So all of these things could potentially have an impact on it. Now, will we see that? Again, I don't promise anything because that's too much of a future Garson situation. But I wouldn't write anything off.
If I may also give a touch of a critique, and the reason why I'm so curious about that is that for the Innistrad part, you left us with a I'm not going to say underdeveloped because we didn't spend enough time with it, but it was a very limiting mechanic in terms of the silvered weapons that we had to use to damage them, that I didn't feel that we got to see how that could incorporate with our abilities, if that makes sense.
Well, that's true. However, one of the other mechanics I included in the campaign was the vote of destiny, and you guys made your choice. So whatever came out, like that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys made that choice. Whatever happens after that choice, you're gonna have to pay the price for.
Right, and don't get me wrong. I don't feel like it was necessarily a wrong choice. That's the thing, is that as of right now, if I were to give a review of it, I feel like I got a taste, but not enough to form an opinion about it, good or bad. I just remember it being a limiting thing, if that makes sense.
Well, there was definitely... I would say this. I think there's a lot of the Moonsilver situation that no one really tapped into. And if we do go back to Innistrad, there may be a way we could incorporate that more into it. But we're going to have to see where the story goes now, because we've wrapped up that pseudo-arc, not really with a well-thought-out answer, but more like a to be continued. And then this week's session is going to lay up into what happened after that. But, like I said... That's going to be in the future. We'll talk more about that if we ever get to that point in our sessions. But today we're going to be focusing on some of the stuff that you can find in the book and some of the stuff that you would be really interested in looking at. Now, last week we tackled a few of the subclasses: the barbarian, the bard, and the cleric. And I have to say, barbarian was pretty well. For a quick recap, barbarian was very good with Path of the Experiments. Bard felt okay-ish. It wasn't bad. It just felt like not fully developed. And then Dominion...
They started in one direction and then canceled it after one feature and then went in another.
Right. And then Harvest Domain, I think, is probably one of the best domains that Cleric's ever gotten in a long time for its versatility, its ability to perform a lot of different mechanics that the team can use without taking up too much of the resources. So that's my honest take on that. And I think that's actually going to be a really good... I would say that's going to be the gold standard for what Cleric should do in the future, just being able to offer a lot of versatility, but also a lot of really interesting features that I hope we see in other Cleric subclasses down the road. But we're not talking about the past. We're here to talk about the future.
If I may, just before we go into Druids, because this does relate to both of them in terms of a player. And I can relate this specifically to Neko because she's talked about this so much. Neko, the type of player that Neko is, she's done a druid for both campaigns. And that's again, that's her play style. For a new player who plays like her, that's very nature-based and whatnot, if you wanted to get them into a different type of thinking, a different type of way of approaching a subject that has their interest, I think Cleric Harvest Domain would be a wonderful way to do that, because it's forcing them to play a new class, but with the idea set that they would absolutely adore.
I can't argue with that. I think that would be a great way to introduce potentially someone to the heart, like, who likes druids but want to try something else. And I think we could also go that route with certain monk subclasses, but we've been building up the druids a lot. We got to dive into it, because We actually have two druid subclasses to talk about this time around. One of them, and these two are so vastly different, they feel like two different classes. But one of them is very interesting, and the other one is I would love to see what people come up with because it's so wacky. We're going to tackle the interesting one first. Actually, no, this is I don't know if this is the wacky one for everyone, but this is the interesting one for me, and the other one is wacky. So let's dive right into it. We're going to be talking about the Druid of the Old Ways, or the Circle of the Old Ways Druid. And before we get into what this class does, I have to explain something, and this is going to hurt a lot of people. This class focuses on one spell. And is one of the weirdest spells. It's a cantrip, so it's actually a pretty good spell to be basing everything on. But it is focusing on the spell Shillelagh. If you've never heard of what this ability does, I'm going to read this to you. Shillelagh is a cantrip. It uses one bonus action. A club or quarterstaff you are holding is imbued with nature power. For the duration, you can use your spellcasting ability instead of strength for the attack at damage rolls of melee attacks using this weapon, and the weapon damage die becomes a d8. If the weapon deals damage, it can be force damage, or the weapon's normal damage type, your choice. The spell ends early again, or if you let go of the weapon. Okay. And then when you reach level 5, it upgrades it to a d10. At 11, it upgrades it to a d12. At 17, it's 2d6s, which honestly, I think is kind of a downgrade because isn't that just the same as a d12, only you've split it between two numbers? Like
technically, yes, but it does something that I think I actually like the 2d6 as the, like, technically an upgrade, because instead of doing more damage, it does more guaranteed damage.
I guess, but it also does have the bigger chance to whiff, too. That's true.
Yeah, it just comes down to, yes, the 11d12 is like, oh man, a 12, I rolled one high number, I'm guaranteed to roll the high damage. But in that same regard, it's the other side of the coin. You roll one low number, that's your entire damage. If you roll a high number with the 2d6, sure, you're not guaranteed to get all the damage like with the d12, but if you roll that low number, you're not screwed.
Well, the first thing I want to do is just I don't normally do this, but I do want to do this for this class. So this is the official artwork of the Druid of the Old Circle, or the Druid of the Old Ways. And right off the bat, aesthetic-wise, we are getting Viking or like
Norse mythology.
Yes, because we have like me first, then you. But because we have the club, we have the weeping wood shield that actually is part of the class's abilities. We have like the Celtic runes on the stomach, or the Norse runes, I guess, could be also interpreted that way. We got the berserker rage and the horns made out of wood, and it's just this is just screaming Viking druid. And I love it.
Can I say something that's just kind of my vibe that I'm getting from not only the artwork, but the prepared spells and whatnot? Like, even before we go into, like, the abilities and whatnot?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting... Okay, you know how they say that there's a martial druid and a caster druid now?
Yes.
This feels very much that they're leaning into that mindset of caster versus martial, and this one feels like it's leaning into, especially with the spells, like Ancestral Communion gives you heroic inspiration if you don't already have it. Barkskin gives you increased AC, Shield of Faith, Shillelagh, and then Spike Growth.
Hold on. Can you say that again?
Shillelagh.
One more time. You're fucking with us, right?
Shillelagh. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced.
No, it's Shillelagh.
Shillelagh.
No, Shillelagh. You're doing the bagels thing that Project Melody did. When everyone says bagels, you go bagels. That's what you're doing.
No, this is how I genuinely pronounce it.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Okay, well, it's
Shalashi.
it's not shalashi, Cheddar. It's shillelagh.
I just call it shalach.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to draw attention to this. I just legitimately find that funny as hell.
Anyways, aside
Go ahead.
aside from the Canadian correct and American wrong way of pronouncing it.
Oh. And tell that to the Dublin Irishman who I talked to about this when I went over there and they pronounced it that way. But fine, the Americans are pronouncing it wrong. Whatever. Go ahead.
Sure. Go ahead.
So anyways, these spells, like even just starting at level 3, and even more so with like magic circle, with like kind of it being a magical defense and plant growth, being basically either a role playing, giving everyone food, or just straight up telling people you're not moving much, you bastard. And then freedom of movement, and then private sanctum, which is basically the equivalent of I'm making this my safe space, fuck off.
This is my no square.
Yeah. And then there's awaken and tree stride. Awaken is just basically I'm going to make a familiar now, fuck you. And
This
tree
is my
stride,
dog.
yeah. And tree stride is, oh, I'm surrounded by trees. You mean pathways. Vroom.
Yeah.
But basically, the way that I'm feeling this out is some people might say that this is an Eldritch Fighter, but no, this feels like a Druid Paladin in a way.
Only it does.
Right, wait.
But the best part is it actually has one of the best counters to one of the Paladin's biggest problems. You don't have to follow a fucking tenant.
That's true.
Technically, I would argue that this one is a little bit more strict. And there's a reason why I would say that. Is because, sure, you don't have to follow a specific tenet. You don't have to follow like a specific guideline of rules. But especially for this world, that second paragraph is a little bit more threatening than you might realize. They harness the power of the Elderwood trees, which are home to the souls of long-dead Fae folk and share their primordial wisdom and might when called upon. So sure, you may not have any specific rules right away to follow, but you piss those fuckers off and you're gonna wish you do.
Oh no.
Okay, here's my take on that. I think this is kind of important to realize. That is strictly up to the DM if they want to enforce something like that. Now, they might, and if they do, it's good storytelling. I think that's a great idea, but I also think that if you're a player who doesn't want to be as very strict with their character, like someone who plays a paladin or a cleric, for that matter, then this is probably like the good middle ground of it. And if they do eventually want to go that way, they could, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to lose something. Because, like, for example, if you're a paladin of the law and you accidentally kill an innocent person, accidentally, now you either have to go on a sub-quest to get your cleric, you get your paladin powers back, or you become an oathbreaker, and that could be a problem.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's like baked into the character. But I'm saying that even a beginner DM would recognize, hey, this druid is part of the ancient forest. If they start fucking off from helping the ancient forest, there's gonna be fucking consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of, let's talk about how this character actually plays out to enforce those rules of the ancient Fae people. So, first ability at level 3.
just before we do so,
Mhm.
someone's in the weight room.
Oh, who's there? Oh, it's Cross. Let's bring Cross in. All right, folks. Our second guest of the night, another player from the campaign. It's Cross. Hi, Cross. What's up?
Hello.
Hi there.
How's it going?
It's going quite well,
Yeah.
Cross. We are talking about subclasses from the Crooked Moon, and then we're going to be doing our session tonight. But we're currently talking about the Druid of the Old Ways.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Looks to Chitter. And smiles.
But before we go any further, Cross, would you like to hear how Chitter pronounces this word?
Oh god.
Chitter,
no.
Chitter, for everyone else, would you please read the word one more time for us?
Shalashi?
It's like
So,
Emily trying to pronounce Chigo. Oh no.
Oh no, you broke Cross.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna just pull up the Wikipedia page.
It's like, hold on, let me get the facts real quick.
Oh.
2 seconds.
Type the word. Type the word. Okay, fine, I will.
All right. Do we have a side chat for this? No.
No, but put it in the weight room side chat. That'll work.
Oh, there we go.
Folks, it's just gonna be like the whole episode is me trying to see who's pronouncing this word right. Settled in. I'll pour the drinks.
There we go. So, as the people have spoken, aka Wikipedia, shillelagh.
Or
It's
in
just-
Irish, Selaji.
What? Where are you reading this?
I am half Irish. No, they don't. No, that's not how they say it.
Okay, we're moving on. You're wrong, Chitter. Accept it and just accept it and be an adult about it. But we're moving on. Anyway,
We'll
so
die on
Brow
this
and Branch. So
Who says I have to be an adult here? None of you fuckers are adults.
whatever. I'm moving on.
one. Anyway,
So
Huh?
Brow and Branch. Basically, it says, even the humblest of your weapons channels the might of the old forest. When you cast Shillelagh, you can cause a shield made of gnarled wood to grow in your free hand, if you have one. No action required to do it. To do it. And advantages when the spell ends. You can't be forced to drop the affected weapon or shield unless you are incapacitated. And additionally, for the duration of the spell, you ignore somatic components of your druid spells, and the weapon enhanced by the spell becomes a druidic focus for you. Okay, so you get to make a free shield.
cool.
Actually,
Um,
there's more to that. That's actually kind of incredible when you think about it.
Okay, and what's that?
It's actually the second part of that that's actually a bit more impressive to me than just having a shield. Because, like, just starting out from, let's say, let's aim it at 3rd level. So that would mean that you have access to, you'd have access to secondary spells, right?
As a druid, yes.
Yes. In fact, Spike Growth is a 2nd level spell that you get as one of the Circle of the Old Way spells at level 3. So you should have a 2nd level spell slot by then if you can cast that.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what I'm doing is, so let me so I have I have 4 spells that you can do while just saying words because of that ability. 4 of them that are going to blow your mind. Because it is a druidic focus and it does your somatic components for you. Lesser Restoration, Hold Person, Wither and Bloom, and Spike Growth. Those have all just become verbal component spells for you.
Okay,
Huh.
the Spike Growth I was aware of, but to have Hold Person and wait, what was the other?
Pretty good.
Yeah, Hold Person's fantastic at level 2. It's like a challenge breaker at that level.
Lesser restoration and wither and bloom, which is basically I damage you and either myself or someone else gets free healing. That becomes a verbal spell for you.
That's actually really good. Like, and lesser restoration is more of a utility spell, obviously, but it does have a lot of ways to break the mechanic. We've seen it in games like Baldur's Gate where it can heal paralyzed individuals. So to have that for free without needing components is really good.
Yeah, yes, it says quote unquote you need for like hold person a small straight piece of iron. The way Druidic Focus works is that because that does not say a cost component, boom, instantly that is a verbal spell.
Yeah, just how focuses work in general. Focuses are great. Like it's just a flavor thing. But in this case, yeah, it works.
And that's
go. I just have a couple others because I got interested because I was looking into it and I was like, okay, what else could you possibly do with this that would be absolutely crazy? Locate object becomes a verbal spell. Locate animals and plants becomes a verbal spell. Moonbeam becomes a verbal spell. Enlarge reduce becomes a verbal spell.
I'm not gonna lie, as a level 3 ability, this is pretty freaking busted. But the thing that also really gets to me about all this is that, you know, the only thing you have to do to gain all those benefits is a bonus action, because Shillelagh is a cantrip, so you can always cast that. So at worst, let's say you burn all your spell slots in a big fight, you now have a free shield. You can't drop the weapon. Shillelagh is going to increase the damage on it. It's basically turning a club into a berserker very easily, but also in making you very durable to be a frontline fighter. So that's good.
And there's one other thing that you guys haven't mentioned that makes this even more terrifying in conjunction. Well, you've mentioned it in passing, but you haven't mentioned the combination specifically. You can't drop that weapon unless you have the incapacitated condition, meaning that no matter your condition, unless you are literally incapacitated, unless you literally cannot do anything, you have only verbal spells.
Oop, 1 second.
I can't argue with that. That's just plain powerful. And the thing is that that's not even the best part about that ability. I'm going to let you finish, but trust me, you're going to want to... No problem, Cross. We'll bring it back in.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't even be disarmed. And the best part is that there's a spell in... There are 2 spells in the prepared spells constantly that make this absolutely busted. There's Bark Skin, which becomes a verbal spell. AC 17 by wishing it into existence. Ancestral Communion, a free reroll by just talking it into existence.
Okay, can I read something about Ancestral Communion that's really broken as well?
Yeah?
All right, let me read this, because I think you may have brought it up, but I want to make it clear to everybody watching this. This ability says that you invoke the wisdom of your ancients to gain insight into your trials. When you cast the spell, and at the start of each of your turns for the duration, you gain heroic inspiration if you don't already have it. Now, I don't know if Chitter was making that abundantly clear. I think she kind of was, but let me basically break that down. 1 round is like, there's 10 rounds in it. Yeah, 6 seconds. 1 minute is like 10 rounds. So by that logic, you could have 10 heroic inspirations for the cost of 1 first level spell slot.
And and from how I remember, like D&D monsters being played for the sake of fairness, because incapacitated is so utterly devastating to a player, even for a round, incapacitated almost always includes, I say almost because I can't remember every specific situation, but it almost always includes a saving throw. Boom, you just got an advantage on that for free.
Oh, damn.
You can speak that into existence, and if you're like, oh, it's a concentration spell, I'll just break that concentration. Whoopsie, that heroic inspiration, you can roll it with advantage for that as well.
Well, just to let you know, when you do have incapacitation, you don't have concentration. It is written.
I know, but I'm saying that to get to that point, either one requires a saving throw, aka you're using the heroic inspiration. You just got free advantage on basically any saving throw by speaking it into existence.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because the next part of this ability, because this is actually a 2-part ability, Woodwose. Let me read this one. So, as a bonus action or as part of casting Shillelagh, so you don't even have to do this using an extra bonus action. You can set this up when you're casting Shillelagh and you want to have Shillelagh up because that's going to make you amazing. You can then expend the use of your wild shape to submerge yourself with the power of the primordial woods, gain the following benefits. Okay. Bark Bulwark. When you aren't wearing armor, your base AC is 10 plus your dex and wisdom modifiers. Elderwood Sap. When you hit a creature with an attack roll using the enchanted Shillelagh, the target is coated in Elderwood Sap until the start of your next turn. While coated, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you. Oaken Resolve. You have advantage on strength and constitution saving throws, and that lasts for 10 minutes. Now, it ends early if you dismiss it, obviously, if you have incapacitation or you die, but 10 full minutes of this for using a bonus action and a wild shape ability. Wild shape. Damn.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
remind me, how
it's
many
really-
turns is
Oh,
10
go ahead.
minutes?
So one yeah, so sorry, I'll Cross, you explain it.
That's 100. That's 100 rounds.
Yes.
Holy, oh my god.
This is relatively standard fare for how druid subclasses work, and that they'll get some new way to use their wild shape. This one seems to just be turning the druid into more of like a melee fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different take on the idea of a battle druid, aside from Circle of the Moon, where you're just doing stronger wild shape transformations. Here,
Okay.
you get to maintain your humanoid form and thus also maintain your spell casting. So yeah.
If I may, just really quickly, I would like to. You know how when we talk about multi-classing, there's either going all the way or doing a dip to like where you start to get your subclass, like level 3.
It can vary, but yeah.
Like that's typically what they do, druid specifically. But when we're talking about subclass, those are typically the 2 ways to do it.
Yeah,
This is
depends
an
on what
A+.
you're going for.
Yeah, this is an A+ dip. If you
To
have
get the
to go to level 3, if you have any martial class, take 3 levels in druid to get this.
So the advantage on strength and con saves is pretty good. Yeah.
There's just one problem with that theory, Cheddar, and I want to point out it has to do with Shillelagh's other component because you have to have a club or a quarterstaff. And martial fighters like fighters and barbarians, they want swords and axes. Well, barbarian could probably get away with using a club. That's probably something they could get away with. But
Counterpoint. Monk.
Monk would definitely benefit from going 3 into this class, not gonna lie.
For the advantage on the saving throws. They already have Dex and Wisdom for their AC, but getting the advantage along with a little bit of Druid spell casting, I think will be a nice bit of versatility.
And let's not forget, they still got that Ancestral Commune spell, so free Heroic Inspirations, and Shield of Faith, and Bark Skin. That would really benefit a monk.
That's really good.
And the thing, and the Bark Bulwark uses Dex and Wisdom modifiers, the 2 stats that monks really want to use.
There you go.
If I may, do you remember how I was saying that this class feels like a paladin in needing that second paragraph to come through on the backstory, where it's like home of the souls of long dead fae folk, and yes, the DM would have to be involved with it, but they kind of need some kind of pullback. This is specifically what I'm talking about. There is so much in the early going that benefits so many people that if you're bringing this class to the table, I'm going to say this flat out, you and me are talking player to DM about the role play restrictions of what you're doing, because I'm not letting this run wild.
Well, I think that's a good thing, because one of the things that's actually going on with this druid of this old ways is that they don't really gain a whole lot of abilities. They just get more and more benefits to using the wood and the wood woes ability for their wild form. So, for example, like on level 6, the Wrath of the Elder Woods drives you and punishes your foes. When you activate your wood worse, you gain the following benefits for the duration. So you gain 2 additional abilities. Oaken Fist. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. Gnarled Thorns. Yeah. Gnarled Thorns. Once on each of your turns when you hit a creature with a melee attack roll using a weapon, the target takes 1d8 piercing damage.
1d6, but yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Why
1d6.
does this just sound like Groot?
It kind of is Groot.
It kind of just sounds like Groot.
Mm-hmm.
Can I
And I
can I
love
be
that.
can I be honest here for a moment?
Yes.
The reason why I was talking about the dipping into this subclass, and again, these are absolutely amazing abilities, and I'm not denying that they're great and would absolutely make for amazing storytelling for a player who wants to go the distance. But for someone who's thinking about playing the type of character that this involves,
Mhm.
unless you're doing it for a role play perspective, or you're specifically wanting a druid who just goes, I hit things with stick.
You get the big bonky stick, bonk.
Unless you're going for that specific route, I can't recommend more than 3 for this subclass, because of the fact that it does a really great job of focusing on it, but it also gets to the point where it's almost the opposite of the College of Whistles, where I can't recommend beyond 3 because it's just stacking on. So unless you're actively aiming for that,
Mhm.
you would need to treat this as a dip and pair it with something else.
So I
This is
actually...
fun.
Oh, go ahead.
This is a
was-
very... Oh, sorry, Neffy. Go right
Oh,
ahead.
it's okay. I just had a funny thought of just like this type of druid going, I will bonk you with the stick because it pleases the Fae.
I mean,
I think it does. I think they really like it when you hit them.
Please.
looking a bit
Yeah.
ahead, it looks like a lot of this is channeling like the wrath of nature. So this is so this is a druid embodying nature being angry because it's been wrong. It's less of, oh, it's gonna please the Fae, and more of, no, you've made the Fae angry. Pulls out bonking stick.
Oh, wait. I thought of something even sillier. All right, so this is like all based on trees, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna I would make a character like this and go, my name's the Lorax. I speak for the trees. Now come out, you fuckers. I'm smashing your knees.
On a more serious note, we're doing our campaign in Ravnica.
Yes.
The Groll Guild. A lot of their shamans and their druids literally follow what they call the old ways, and they're all about savagery and might. This is literally perfect for them.
Oh, you're right.
yeah.
Ooh. Now if I make an NPC for the Gruul, I'm definitely gonna add this as one of as their class, because this is perfect for them. And
Nice.
it gets better. So like when you get to level 10, they get even more wood roast abilities. So level 10, here's what they get at level 10. Primeval Wrath. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can force the target to succeed on a strength saving throw against your spell save DC, or they have prone, which means they get knocked to the ground.
So you were saying about coming for the knees?
Yeah.
Literally.
Bramble
And they have
Bark.
2 attacks. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're right. They do have 2 attacks. Oh my god.
They have 2 attacks. So first attack knocks them down, and second attack is free advantage because you're hitting a prone target with melee.
Not to mention, if you hit them, you also get 1d6 of piercing damage because you hit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And here's the terrifying part about all of this that you guys that probably aren't thinking about. Aside from gnarl thorns at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and bramble bark, which we'll get to in a moment, that's all force damage.
Oh,
Is
you're
it?
right. Oh, that means you can knock stuff. Ooh, booming blade with this would be amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you seeing force damage?
It says it right here because Shillelagh turns it into force damage.
Oh, that's a change to Shillelagh. Yeah, that's an update. Okay, I forgot about that.
I like it. I like this a lot. Bramble.
And sorry, if I may, really quickly,
Yeah.
unless the DM is specifically aiming for you, force is a really, really rare resistance.
I don't think anything resists it.
No, I don't. I think that's why Thunderwave is such is just a generally good AoE spell because no one really resists force.
Thunder damage.
Wait, oozes resist force because they resist everything that's physical, so it's not like a big shock.
Yeah.
But this druid is coming at you with the force of unstoppable trees, and unless you are an ooze, you will not stop that tree from hitting you.
And it gets better. So, Bramble Bark, when a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee attack, the attacker takes 1d8 piercing damage, and they can only take this damage once per turn. Okay, can I just be honest here? This is just Brock Sampson if he was a D&D character.
Lol.
Go on. Are you sure about that? They hit me with a truck.
They hit me with a truck.
And then Rampant Growth. When you activate your Wood Woes, and at the start of each of your subsequent turns, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your Wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. And there's no cap on this.
Well, okay. Temporary hit points, you can only ever have one set of it. So if you get a new set, it just replaces the previous set. But the fact that this can just keep going, so you always have that constantly refreshing barrier, essentially. That's really good.
And then we're just going to quickly go over the 14th level, because, again, it's just more stuff that gets added to their main ability, which is Wood Woes. Old Growth. Your size increases to large, along with anything you're wearing. Or oh my god, there's nothing going to stop this thing. There is space to accommodate your growth. Your reach is increased by 5 feet. Mighty Trunk. You gain resistance to bludgeoning and piercing damage. And Vengeance of
I
the...
am Groot.
And
I was about to say, yeah, you were joking, but no, actually, though.
And then lastly, Vengeance of the Elders. When a creature that is covered in Elderwood sap is within your reach and makes an attack roll, you can take a reaction to make the melee attack against that creature. So it's like, wait, were you trying to hit me? Yeah. Bonk!
It's fucking Groot. It's just fucking Groot.
Okay,
And I
so...
love it.
Oh dear God.
Oh no. That's never a good thing when Chitter says that once.
This thing, because it is a druid, we're not looking at the class itself. It becomes even more terrifying.
Oh lord.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Alright, I'll bite. How? Before Chitter explains real quick, I absolutely love this subclass. I think it's fantastic. Chitter has found something game-breaking about it, so now I'm terrified. Chitter, go ahead. What's the thing?
No, it gets worse.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So, first of all, level 5, Wild Resurgence. Because remember, Wild Shape is what makes your Wood Woes work, right?
That is correct. That is Shillelagh, but that is correct.
Once, well, you need to expend a Wild Shape.
Right.
Once on each of your turns, if you have no uses of Wild Shape left, you can give yourself one use by expending a spell slot. No action required.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
That's gonna be invaluable to the subclass because they're not really casting that much. Obviously So their spell slots are pretty much free resources to get wild shape, and I think they would be like, I'm not in tree form. Tree powers, go!
Your tree powers activate.
I need to see something really quick. Hold on 1 second.
I'm just
Because-
checking something else really quickly.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. So we were just talking spell slots, or just spells in general.
Yeah.
So Shillelagh lasts a while,
Yeah, it
but it's not
does.
concentration.
No. It's not.
No.
So yeah, by all means, have other stuff going. Oh my
it
god!
it gets worse.
How so?
After you get Oaken Fist, 1 level later,
Blade,
you get-
no.
you get Elemental Fury,
Oh, boy.
which includes 2 things. One that immediately you all will scream at, and the other you'll scream at as I go further. Potent spell casting. Add your
Ooh.
wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any druid cantrip.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
And that combines with Primal Strike. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon, you can cause the target to take an extra 1d8 cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage.
Nice.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very honest. This has got to be the most noob-friendly druid that's broken, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
This is just a broken. Okay, look. Let me explain what I'm talking about here, because when we say things are broken on this show, I mean it in the, like, every class we reviewed has been like, it's been good, and there's been some pros and cons, obviously. This one, there's just nothing but pros, because it's very easy to pull this off. You just need to manage your wild shape charges. You gain an ability at level 5 to regain them, so you're never going to run out. All you have to do is make sure you have Shillelagh on your abilities, which you are always going to have prepared, because the spell is part of your circle spell, so you don't need to worry about that. And then all you have to do is be like, activate this, activate that, which is just basic stuff you would get by leveling up, and then you just run into a room and bash everyone over the head with a stick.
A big stick.
There's no strategy involved, but I like it.
Also, just really quickly, because I just want to make all of you just kind of realize how terrifying a druid could be. So, this is just for a druid, but this is also the equivalent of get the fuck over here, you're never escaping me. No, Neffy, you think I'm joking. When you cast a druid cantrip with a range of 10 feet or greater, the spell's range increases by 300 feet.
Nature snare, the whip,
You're
the thorny whip
God.
one.
Hmm.
Are we talking about the thorny whip cantrip, which pulls the character towards you?
Yes.
That's one
That is-
option.
That is called You Are Never Fucking Escaping.
I'm calling it. I like this class, but this isn't.
I
We
love
can't
this
rate this class
class.
on the flump scales. This is just broken. It's overpowered, and it's a good, like, okay, this is the exact opposite of the origami wizard from Obojima, where that class was just was too underpowered. This is too overpowered.
Also, this class becomes a god tier at level 20. Do you want to know why?
Yes, obviously. Why?
Evergreen Wild Shape. Whenever you roll initiative and you have no uses of Wild Shape left, you regain a use of it.
Yeah, it's standard.
But that's what.
No, but
Oh my god, I
that's
get
the
it.
thing. Even though it's standard,
Mhm.
you're not even using spell slots anymore.
So we're all in agreement then this class is pretty much broken, right?
Yeah.
Especially since the only thing that would make it less broken is if it wasn't using force damage.
That is true. And not to mention you get new additional cantrips as you level up. You might get a spell or two that can really add to it. And really the only two stats you need to focus on are wisdom and I believe dex, because I think that's how where's that spell? I was like, oh yeah, because Bark Bulwark uses it to calculate your armor class, which, oh my god, I just realized something. If you got a 20 in character creation for dex and wisdom on this class, that's +5 to each one. So you have an AC of 20 by level 3. It's a very
Oh dear god. Oh dear god, I just realized something.
What?
By level, when you do get to like level 9, like before you even get a rampant growth or bramble bark or anything, hell, even level 7, where the terrifying wisdom modifier kicks in, you get freedom of movement.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. Freedom of movement, most people recognize as like you're no longer affected by difficult terrain and grapples are not effective on you. You also get a swim speed and you can't be paralyzed or restrained.
All right, so
that is the spell in this class of saying the trees are coming for you and the sea cannot save you.
And then at level 9 you get tree stride, which basically means you can teleport between trees.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna call it right now. This class is broken, but if you ever wanted to play Brock Sampson from the Venture Brothers as a character in D&D, you roll this guy and you're pretty much it, because you're an unstoppable juggernaut of death.
Can you see why, as a DM, I would have roleplay restrictions on this class?
I could, and I probably have to at least when you get up to the higher levels, but like, yeah, once you get you would probably have to go through a special quest to get your ancient protector powers, because that would probably be like a side quest for your character. I like this class, but it's overpowered. That's my rating on it. It's not even on the flumpo meter. It's overpowered, and wow.
Yeah, like you were saying at the very beginning that this class is like, oh, you don't need to. It's a druid, but you don't need to do that. No, you need to do it, because otherwise you're letting the living embodiment of the fuck off tree wander through.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. No.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Cross.
No, you first.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on before we move on to the next subclass, there is the little roleplay thing there about the old ways sacred sites.
Oh yeah, we've actually been talking about that for the other classes, and I like the fact they're keeping this. Yeah, I like the fact that they've been keeping this tradition. So if you've been playing anything in the Crooked Moon, they actually offer what's known as a flavor roll, which is something where you can roll and then you can have like some little flavorish ways how your character got their powers, and every class apparently has this, which I think is kind of cool. I like that. It's more like just for character depth, which is great.
Yeah.
This one is just
reminds me.
Oh, go ahead, Klaus.
It reminds me of how actually 2014 rules were, especially with backgrounds, where each background had a set of different tables for like personality traits and flaws and everything, and they took those out for the 2024 update, and that's one of the few things I disagree with, because having those little details as options or things that or things you end up rolling just to see what would be interesting little flavor details can add a lot of surprising depth to a character. Like in the case of me with Elmare, Vin's like the concept of Vin as a character came up from a random dice roll of the Selesnya background. So each of the guild backgrounds has like contacts that you could roll, and the Simic contact for a Selesnya character is, you have this estranged family member. So then it was like, okay, why are we estranged? What happened? And it led to one of the most emotional moments I've had in any game I've played.
I'm kind of happy about that, honestly. I don't know if we're not...
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was like saying, was it the one where when Vin met Illumaria again, they just were like, Vin was so exhausted and just tired because he hadn't seen his sister in like 5 years, and then he just like embraced... Okay, that still remains one of my favorite moments of the campaign. It's just coming up with that story beat. I don't like to toot my own horn, but I really was proud of that one.
It was amazing, and again, I cannot stress this enough. It was the result of a random dice roll.
And
it's like that with the guy with the set of dominoes leading up to a giant domino. Domino, random dice roll, massive domino, that moment.
Yeah.
You were
also,
saying,
if I may...
Oh, go ahead, Chitter.
Yeah, sorry. If I may just cut in for a brief moment talking about how that can relate to the dice rolls here. What I find so fascinating is that if you look at the Old Way sacred sites, they're not all tree related. Some of them are fauna related. Some of them are even just nature related in general with fish. Or some of them are like a turbulent tide pool by the coast with bottomless waters. Like if you think about it, this shows a way for it. Not only is it like good for those moments, but it also gives you something very important that 2024 seems to have forgotten. And I don't mean forgotten in like a deliberate attempt, but in just a genuine forgotten way. Why the fuck do your characters care?
Yep. Those little things, even though they were always suggestions. They weren't things that you had to play with. So, but having them as an option is a great springboard for people to use and get inspiration and ideas for their character for the story aspect of it. And I'm sad that 2024 got rid of it. So seeing it here in these subclasses is really, really refreshing because it adds more of the story decision of why your character had.
Okay, back to what you were saying, Chitter.
Yeah. So this is why I constantly push the heroic chronicle. Because 2024, especially, doesn't give those suggestions. And the thing is that it doesn't even need to be something big like, oh, my character got this grand vision for a quest. No. You just need to have the basics. What's your family? What was your upbringing like? What made you choose the class you did? Because those choices alone force the player to think, okay, why is my character getting involved? You don't need to tell the player why they're getting involved. You need to give them hints and let them think, why am I here?
Why do I exist?
Neffy, do you have any...
Sorry.
All right. Neffy, do you have anything you want to add to the sacred site rules?
I like the sacred site because it gives the player more like ability to use their own imagination, which I feel like D&D should be more about. Like you should be able to use your imagination to like create some like you said, create some more flavor to add to your character.
I think that's pretty good. I like that. Chitter, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we moved on?
Just one final thing. I genuinely think that as much as we've talked about, oh, maybe Crooked Moon is a touch overhyped and whatnot, I think in terms of a D&D book, like pulling it back to within the guidelines of This is a D&D book released in 2025. Forgetting that it's third party for a moment, because third party, they're like, don't get me wrong, it's what a D&D book is going to most likely be, is third party these days. Because let's
Mhm.
face it, WotC ain't doing much with adventures or new worlds these days. That's it. I hate to say it, that's just a fact of nature. But
Nature.
putting it in line with what a D&D book came to expect, like when 5e came out,
Mm-hmm.
this makes me happy, because this is a book that I could pull to somebody new, or somebody who's like, I'm not sure I'd have any ideas even of what I want to play. And I could straight up go to them and go, here, I have a couple tables I want you to roll on for me. Yes, you're still picking your subclass, but I want you to roll on this table, see if anything catches your eye. And even if they don't choose a subclass from this book, if they rolled on the sacred sites and got another subclass from another book, or
Mhm.
even or WotC's books or anywhere else, and they pulled it from here, I know guaranteed that they're thinking in terms of why they're there.
Yeah.
I like that too. All right. I think that's a good idea. But let's move on to the next subclass, because we've got 2 more to look at tonight. And guys, I'm gonna level with you right now. I don't have a lot of faith in this one at all, because this is, to this day, the only bad subclass we've ever talked about on the show is the Paper Wizard from Obojima, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting Paper Wizard vibes off of this class. Maybe I'm wrong, but we're gonna read into it. So let's talk about the Circle of Wicker Druid.
Okay.
So, cutting in their ancient art, druids of the Circle of the Wicker fashioned twig dogs and twig dolls, fuck,
Good job, Garson.
and effigies, bind their magic into these crude forms. Okay, so this is already why I'm getting Paper Wizard vibes off this class, is because it's using its magic to create small, like, constructs that do different things, but you got to use a resource to make them. And remember, and the Paper Druid was really bad at making that happen. So I don't know if this is necessarily going to be the same thing, but already that's a bad sign for me, that you have to like use your turns to make these little effigies instead of doing stuff that would help the party. And we start with that with its Bewitched Effigy. Your primal magic can manifest as a wicker effigy and radiate out from it. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of your wild shape to create a wicker effigy in an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself. The effigy is a small object, AC of 15, HP equal to 5 times your druid level, vulnerability to fire, immunity to poison and psychic. The effigy vanishes after 1 minute when reduced to 0 HP, or when you use this feature again. It radiates one of the following auras. Choose which you choose when you make the effigy, in a 30-foot emanation that is filled with dim light. Okay, so that's interesting. The paper, unlike paper, where those ones were very quick to be destroyed, this one's a little bit more survivability. It's got a decent AC at 15. It's got HP equal to 5 times your druid level, so at level 3 you get at least 15 hit points. It only lasts.
Scales.
It does scale. That's true,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing. It vanishes after 1 minute, and it makes auras. All right then.
Hey, can I say this really quickly?
Yes.
That I think that this one immediately is better than the Paper Druid and is actually very usable. I want to say that right off the bat, because this ability alone is absolutely incredible when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that I say that, because notice how it doesn't say it has to follow you or anything. It's not around you. It's not in a 30-foot emanation that is filled with dim light. So if you're in normal daylight, that is being covered. That is specifically how the rules work. If it goes from darkness, dim light to bright light. So if you are in a normally lit situation, you do not have to worry about that emanation being seen. So, and again, I know that's not RAI rules as intended, but that's rules as written how D&D is played.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said in mind, this is an amazing setup because think about this. It is a small doll just sitting there. And you're all within 30 feet of it. You're not drawing attention to it. Now, any one of those abilities is going to be wild because it is a minute of this. So it is a minute of either of it radiates one of the following. Choose when you create it. So you don't get all three, but you either get sacrifice, which is if you know you're going to be hit a lot, you can take a reaction to deal fire damage to the creature equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
1 second, I think
Which
you're
is-
actually reading that wrong because how the wording is intended is when a creature in the aura takes damage, you can take a reaction to deal fire damage to the creature equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. So what that's essentially saying is that if someone's fighting a creature within that 30 feet area and they get hit, you can then use a reaction to launch a firebolt for free and potentially deal 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier, but there's no saving throw to it, and it's a guaranteed hit.
So
Yeah,
it's even
it's not-
better.
Yeah, it's not protection against you. It's enemy in the area is taking more damage.
Right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes this even more terrifying and makes the effigy even harder to detect. It's not saying it comes from it. It's just saying it happens. D&D is very much a game where unless it specifically mentions it, it's not happening. That's a very well-known tradition and even rule of D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Where mechanically, if it says that it does not come from it, unless you are actively flavoring it as such, it's not happening. So the thing is that within 30 feet of this random fucking doll for enemies, because again, they don't know, they aren't paying attention to a random fucking doll. So within 30 feet of this random doll, they are getting hurt with either more fire or the people they're fighting are being randomly healed or they have a +1 to AC, which is basically a free shield for everybody.
And that would be, I'm starting to see that. I do see what you're talking about here. I think sacrifice and ward are probably the two most useful ones. Soothe is pretty good too, but that one actually has but Soothe has a time limit or a use limit because it says you can use this effigy to restore HP a number of times equal to twice your spellcasting ability modifier.
True. To be fair, and I'm just going to say this, Cure Wounds has a use limit.
True, but
this is on addition to Cure Wounds, and it's a healing word that's a 1d6 within half the range. It's 1.5 times the healing for half the range.
And you do get a free use of it when you immediately cast it, so that's always a good thing. So it's also not so it's immediate use, which means you will at least heal someone for 1d6, and then every turn you can use a bonus action, so the action economy is always good if you don't have to waste a standard action on it, which I like. This is already better than the Paper Wizard, I'll admit.
And the thing is that, yes, absolutely, if they know that you're making dolls that do it, you have to protect it. But that's the thing, is that they have to know. And just gonna throw this out there, druids are known for their kind of cool ability of how do I say this lightly? Making fucking light come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Like for example, as a cantrip, you either get create bonfire or produce flame, which is sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. Now, realistically, that's a 20-foot aura. So even in a dark space, unless you are actively putting the doll in a location 10 feet beyond, or in a way that the light goes, I'm shining a shadow on a dark wall because I'm a moron, you would any enemy would realistically think that that dim light that's coming off the fucking doll is coming from the fucking person holding fire.
Well, I can't argue with that. I like this. It's clean cut. Each one has its own benefits. We either have damage, healing, or support. Either one's pretty good. It just depends on the situation. I think already at least the level 3 has been pretty good.
And then when it comes to the spells, level 3 has Bane and Bless, which, I'm sorry, those are busted.
That's true. They are.
Then there's insert our party here.
Insert DSP joke about incompetent here. Says hero.
Then there's Summer Winds, which is you unleash a blast of light and wind in a 15-foot cone. Your allies in the cone regain 2d6 hit points. Undead in the cone that are hostile to you must make a con saving throw, taking 2d6 radiant or half as much damage on a successful one.
Must have been the wind.
Yeah. And then, of course, they also get Zone of Truth.
Which, Zone of Truth is kind of a wicked spell.
Mm.
Then at level 5, you get Bestow Curse, which is just a...
Oh, no. I read the second spell you get at level 5. No!
Then you get my favorite one, Tiny Hut.
I love Tiny Hut.
I hate that spell so much.
I made Garson do 3 episodes of his short series on it.
I saw that. That was cool. That was good.
I gagged every time I recorded those lines.
But then after you get the best spell in the game, you get literally Death Ward, which is you're not dying now. And then you get Sanctum of the Shepherd, which is basically, first of all, you create a 20-foot radius sphere of faint shimmering light centered on a point within range. You and a number of your creatures up to a spellcasting modifier can absorb protective magic from the sphere. When any of your chosen creatures finish a long rest in the area, the sphere vanishes, and those creatures gain a +1 bonus to AC for the remainder of the duration. Chosen creatures who don't finish a long rest in the sphere gain no benefit. I'm sorry. You could just wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
That's a... Oh my god. That's a 24. You could do Tiny Hut combined with Sanctum of the Shepherd, and you literally get +1 to AC and a free long rest.
And not to mention you get all your spell slots back, so you essentially can do it for free.
Exactly. And it would only take you 2 minutes.
Why are all these druids so broken?
And that's just the spell list.
And then you get Serenity's favorite spell, Hold Monster. So you basically just go, you're not fucking moving for a while. And then
You're
you
mine,
get...
motherfucker.
Oh, this is the spell that you give when you're like, I don't want to do shit today. Lucky Charm. For 1 hour, you touch a tiny non-magical object, infusing it with a portion of your own luck for the duration. While another creature carries the object, that creature has advantage on D20 tests, period, and you have disadvantage, period. That's called, I'm not doing anything for an hour. Here you go, bud.
Oh no.
Cross, do you have
Wait,
anything to add to that spell list?
I'm to the spell list. No, I'm just biding my time to look down at the other features because while the spells are nice, I glance at the features and I'm like, oh, these are good.
All right. Well, it's a good spell list for prepared spells. I'll admit that. All right, so we can already establish that this is beating the paper wizard in terms of usefulness in just 3 seconds. Just by level 3.
yeah.
Oh my god. Level 3. This class is better than the stupid paper wizard. By level 3. The paper wizard.
Carson.
I'm sorry. I'm still not forgiving them that class. That class was ass.
Carson,
Yes.
Carson,
Yes.
we're not done level 3.
I know. We still got Wicker Token to review. Can I read that one, please? I've been reading this all day and I want to talk about this one. All right.
Yep.
So Wicker Token. You can weave Wicker tokens that carry a touch of your magic. When you finish a long rest, you can create a number of tokens equal to your proficiency bonus. So if I believe that correctly, by level 3, that should be at least 2 that you can make every long rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, here's where things get weird. The tokens are tiny objects. They're immune to poison and psychic damage. The tokens vanish when you finish your next long rest. So unless they are destroyed, they're basically going to stay until your next long rest, which is amazing. And when you cast spells with a range of touch on a creature carrying one of your tokens, while the two of you are on the same plane of existence. Wait. Oh, you can cast spells with a range of touch on a creature carrying. Okay. So what does that mean basically? Okay. It essentially means
Oh god. Sorry.
I know exactly what it means. So what that basically means for players is that as long you give 2 of these to the guys who are going to be up front most, and then you can be like, but I need to touch them to cast this really powerful magic. Oh wait, you essentially give to
Garson.
I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
Garson.
Go.
I'm going to list off all the spells by level 3 that are touch spells that can go on the same plane of existence with this one. Are you ready?
Know the best one.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is resistance, a d4 to any saving throw, mending, magic stone, our party's signature staple, guidance. You can do guidance on a plane of existence anywhere. Goodberry, jump, longstrider, protection from evil and good, cure wounds, bark skin. Yeah, cure wounds is just ridiculous that you can do that anywhere on the fucking plane. Bark skin, their AC can't be less than 16. Beast sense, continual flame, dark vision, lesser restoration, and protection from poison, and that's at level 3.
So,
dear God. Oh, dear God.
Oh,
I just realized something.
What's that?
Do you want to know what level 9 spell is touch?
Go ahead, what?
Foresight. As in, literally, can't be surprised, has advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, saving throws. Additionally, other creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target for 8 hours. And the other spell that's even more terrifying, that with a wicker token, you could cast it across a plane. True resurrection.
Okay. So let's be realistic here.
Oh, I'm not saying that this is realistic in any stretch of the imagination, but I'm saying that theoretically you could be on the other side of a plane and be reviving someone to life completely.
Go ahead, Cross. I want to hear your take on this so badly.
So yes, that's good and all. my focus is just on the immediate. Because look, if someone's on the other side of the world and they've died and they happen to have one of your tokens on them, sure, yes, you can true resurrect them, but I think it's going to be more of an issue of how you're going to figure out that they're even dead. First of all, and my focus is on the immediate application. Giving these to your frontline attackers and then being able to cure wounds from a distance is already amazing and way more mileage you're going to get out of this than anything else. Yeah.
Combining that with your like effigy of soothe, you literally can go, hey guys, you guys aren't going to be in range of this thing. Here, take a coin.
I'm just going to say this right now. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, but I want to make this abundantly clear. This is what the stupid paper wizard was trying to do. And failed. This version is the version where they fix the problems. And we're like, oh, we read this. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. No. By level 3, you gain access to all of this. Level 3.
And level 6. And level 6 is just making it so much better.
I know. So...
if I may, Garson?
Go ahead.
So, it's basically going through each of the 3 for the bewitched effigy. Sacrifice. So instead of 1d8 fire damage, you get 2d8 plus your wisdom modifier. Which it was the same, it was wisdom modifier for the first one, but you go to 2d8. Soothe. You get free cure wounds. And also, you can expend 5 hit points from the effigy to remove one of the following conditions on the target. Charmed, frightened, paralysis, poisoned, and stunned. Oh, and did I mention level 6? Let's see, HP. HP is equal to 5 times your druid level. 5 times 6. That means 30. Meaning you could do that 6 times. You could remove that 6 times. And
Damn.
ward. You go, that enemy is doing a lot of bullshit right now. And it's not force bullshit. Oh, that's cool. Choose a damage type other than force. You and your allies in the aura have resistance to the chosen type.
I'm going to just say this right now.
Isn't there a barbarian that just straight up only has psychic as a non-resistance?
Yeah.
With this level 6 druid, you could just be like, hey buddy, watch this bullshit.
I'm going to say this right now. The druid is like, okay, I'm just imagining this right now. Let's say if our party was to a run in this, we could have one person be a druid of the old ways, and the rest could be druid of the wicker. And then basically, what we could do is everyone could set up, like, 5 of you guys are all wicker druids, right? You all use the sacrifice option, or maybe 1 or 2 of you use the, and one other person does the soothe. So that's 4 sacrifices, 1 soothe, 1 druid of the old way. At level 6, there is a world where the druid of the old way would run in there, use his wood woes ability with Shillelagh, hit them twice in a row, hit them twice, cause every one of the fire effigies to go off, potentially damage them for 2d8 plus your wisdom modifier, which could be plus 5 at this point if you took the feat level up, or if you took the ability score level up at your feat level. They do this each round. Then if they attack him and hit them, they can do piercing damage. These 2 classes together are broken. By themselves, they're very powerful. Together, they are an unstoppable force of nature.
Here's one thing to keep in mind about this one in particular, and it is very powerful. And if left unchecked, then yes, it can go pretty rampant pretty quickly. However, its HP isn't that high, and also it has fire vulnerability, and fire is a pretty common damage type that gets thrown around.
It
Mhm.
does.
So-
It's the most common.
So
Yeah.
yes, so these these effigies, while good, are restrained in that if you're going against anyone who does anything fire related, they're gonna shred through these relatively quickly. So
They-
you just got to be careful.
They might. They
That's why
might
I
do
w-
that. That is true.
That's why I was mentioning before about the light and everything, because yes, you could tear through it relatively quickly, but if you're in normal lighting, you aren't going to notice a random doll.
No.
Wait, I don't get it.
So So basically, what Chitter is saying is, in the light hierarchy of D&D, dark light conceals everything unless you can have dark vision or blind sight, and then dim light is is like the intermediate between that, and then in bright light it would conceal everything in dim light. That's what Chitter is basically claiming.
So basically, there's, in terms of light, like not magical darkness, not magical light, darkness, dim light, and then bright light. And unless the DM specifically states it's nighttime or cloudy or whatever, like unless the DM specifically states it and it's daytime, it's assumed to be normal brightness, like bright light. So the thing is that if this druid just casually goes bonus action before a fight and sets the doll even just hidden behind a box, then it's not saying that the magic is blocked by anything. It's getting through that. So they are just randomly getting ridiculous power-ups out of nowhere. At least that's how it seems
Okay.
to the party, to the enemies.
Let me see something. I'm not seeing where you are getting that the different levels of light, like, uh, like overpower one another or something.
One moment. So it comes from the environment rules from D&D. So the presence or absence of light in an environment
Oh.
creates three categories of illumination: bright
One
light, dim
one-
light, and darkness.
1 second, Chitter. We actually have another guest who wants to join us in it. It is Neko, who actually is joining us, and she is a resident druid expert.
All right, can I just finish this one point before we fully introduce her?
Yes, go right ahead, and then we'll
Mhm.
introduce Neko.
All right. So, Cross, just really quickly. What I was saying with the light. There's bright light, lets most creatures see normally. Even gloomy days provide bright light, as do torches, lanterns, fire, and other sources of illumination within a specific radius. Dim light, also called shadows, creates a lightly obscured area. An area of dim light is usually a boundary between a source of bright light, such as a torch, and surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and dawn also counts as dim light. A particularly brilliant moon may bathe the land in dim light. Darkness creates a heavily obscured area. Characters face darkness outdoors at night, within the confines of an unlit dungeon or subterranean vault, or in an area of magical darkness. So that's what I was meaning when I was saying with it saying in a 30-foot emanation that is filled with dim light. If you're just in a normal environment, you're not going to see that.
Why not?
Because it's
Like, I heard-
more,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
because that's the normal light, even on gloomy days, as it says, is just going to remove it entirely.
Where does it say that?
Oh dear. One moment.
Chitter posted that in
Also love
the.
to read that.
What was that, Neko?
Like,
Oh wait, you can't. Okay, you can't hear me. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Like, why the fuck not? It's magic.
Well, okay. In terms of the game story, in terms of the game setting for this book, there is no sun in Duskenvolt. It's always dimly lit in the moonlight. So I don't think that would apply to this particular game world, but I can't argue with the fact that if the, like, okay, it's like this. If someone were to put a flashlight and put the flashlight outside, the flashlight's light is going to be obscured by the sun because the sun is brighter than the flashlight. So by that logic, are we going to notice a flashlight that's turned on in the middle of a sunny day?
Okay, but oh wait, it's in the middle of a sunny day. Wait,
Well,
you said it had no sun.
No,
right?
in the game environment.
Yeah,
Shitter, explain
we're
it. Better,
saying,
Shitter,
like-
explain it.
Yeah. So basically, I'm saying that in terms of reference of using this anywhere, basically, not just in this world, but anywhere where it's like if we were to bring this class into normal D&D. Outside of this world itself.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me. Is that the part about dim light? They say it's also referred to as shadows. You can see shadows on a bright day.
Yeah, you
Okay,
need light.
can we
Go ahead.
just compromise and say that the enemies would need to roll like a perception check equal to like magic level or something?
I mean, I don't know. Does anyone else think that sounds fair if they were going to put little tiny dolls out?
My argument is oh, I'm sorry, Neko.
No, you're fine. I think it depends on like the creature, because like if they're adapted in that area, I don't think they should, because like if they're living there, they have to have adapted by now.
That's true. I think if it was like a
So it
dragon or
wouldn't make
something.
any sense. It wouldn't make
Yeah.
any sense to make them have a perception roll in an environment that they've been adapted to for so long, because they have to have been able to see without using their eyes, maybe just even by listening, that they can
Yeah.
see you. So
Yeah.
like having a light might scare them off, but
Yeah.
it could definitely like
I guess the reason why I'm being so nitpicky about this is because it's a small object, which is between 2 to 4 feet tall, which is not an abnormal size for a doll.
Actually, it's a tiny object. So is there like a size smaller than
No,
small?
No, it says the effigy is a small object. 3.
Oh,
The tiny it's
Oh.
a tiny token for wicker token, but for bewitched effigy, the effigy is a small object. Small and defined in D&D is 2 to 4 feet tall. A 2-foot tall doll is not abnormal in any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, they're not wrong.
so what's wrong with that? I think that's a cool spell, especially to deceive people and just have Annabelle and Chucky just jump you.
Yeah, you have a floating doll there, and you have this, and it's making that aura of those shadows, that dim light, that space around, because there has to be a visual for it, where you can see like the space where you're getting your benefit from. It's like how Twilight Domain clerics work. They have their Twilight Sanctuary feature, which creates a sphere of dim light around them, which they say is like Twilight. It's that shadowy level of light. So yeah, it's not full darkness, but it's a dimmed space. That's all I'm saying. Like they would see what it is.
Yeah. I'm just kind of arguing on the fact that the druid could attempt to put it into the space, because again, it's not like the Twilight Sanctuary where it's invulnerable as long as the druid is up. They could try to like place it in an unoccupied space where the enemies aren't going to notice it right away.
You
Mainly
throw it
because
like
of
a
the-
grenade.
See.
You go ahead, Nico.
Mainly
I
Sorry.
would just throw it like a grenade. Be like, "Hey, you want a doll?" And then just hand it to them, and they're just like, "Why'd you throw this to me?" And then it just spins its head 380 degrees and just basically just blow up.
Well, these dolls don't do that. They're more like made by witches in the middle of the forest who make it out of wicker strands, but they're like voodoo dolls, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's like 3 different abilities. Sacrifice, which means when they take damage, you can use a reaction to deal fire damage. Soothe, meaning that you can use a bonus action to heal a creature 1d6 hit points, a number of times equal to twice your spellcasting modifier. And then Ward, which starts with a +1 bonus to AC, and then turns into resistance to a damage type, etc., etc. And yeah, it just keeps.
This would be
I'm
really
thinking
good
of it.
for like a druid rogue. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just kind of also thinking about this in terms of like a druid who is yeah, like a druid rogue, like trying to be sneaky, placing the dolls in places where the party notices them, but the enemies don't, and basically they get the party is seemingly that much stronger, and the enemies don't understand why.
I think that yeah, this is a really cool spell. Yeah, and I have never seen a druid rogue before because like it feels like now there's like a predator type of druid, like someone who has to sneak around, like make sure they're hunting like really well or foraging really well. They turn into, let's say, like a cobra and stuff like that when they wild shape. That would be really cool, actually.
Yeah. And then coming back to this, at level 10, you get Soulbound Poppet, which as a magic action, so you're basically casting a spell, you can expend a use of your wild shape and choose a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself to create a wicker doll that vaguely resembles the target. This is an actual voodoo doll. The doll is a tiny object, AC 10, HP 10, vulnerability to fire, immunity to poison, psychic, so same as the wicker, same using the same ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
The doll vanishes after 1 minute or when it's reduced to 0. While the doll exists, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against a creature carrying the doll, and when a creature carries the doll damages the target for the first time on a turn, the target takes an extra 2d10 necrotic damage.
Yeah, I now want to see. I kind of want to make a druid rogue now with this spell. Like, is this like what is this from?
This is from Crooked Moon, that new D&D book from Legends of Advantis. This is actually a subclass for the druid called Druid Circle of the Wicker. And this is their key, and this basically their key subclass ability is to make these little wicker dolls. So it is possible to make a rogue. I think if you did 10 in rogue and 10 in wicker, you probably could get a good balance of both abilities.
Oh yeah, like if they let you go to level 20.
Yeah.
I think the voodoo dolls helping out the party and being able to get close to do a coup d'etat, like a critical, I would definitely pick this up. It sounds
Also,
fun. Go ahead.
if I may, I'm just going to finish it off with level 14, just in case you want to do like a 14-6 combination. Your wicker effigies reach the pinnacle of their power. At the start of your turn, you can change your effigy's aura to a different one. So you basically can choose each turn which you want to do. And then sacrifice, the fire damage that was your reaction goes to 3d8 plus wisdom modifier. Soothe is, like the healing and the like expending 5 hit points to remove either charm, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned. When you or allies start a turn in the aura, without even using the ability, charm or frighten just goes away. And then ward is choose an ability. You and each of your allies within the aura have advantage on the saving throws made with the chosen ability.
Wow. That
All right then.
yeah.
And before we move on to saying about like, oh, whether we like it or not, Neko, there's one other thing that Crooked Moon does. If you'll just scroll down a little bit, Garson.
Go right ahead.
There's different wicker effigies, which means they can take on a variety of shapes, such as antler bowman, or bird-headed scarecrow, or apple-adorned fertility goddess, unsettling stick figures, goat with curved horns, etc., etc., and each one has a different meaning behind it.
Druid rogue. Oh my god, the lore that the druid grew up in the swamps had to use them to hide and steal. Basically, oh my god, the lore that you can make with just this spell alone. I want to see this played out.
Before we go to our last class of the last subclass of the episode, I want to just briefly go back because Neko wasn't here for this. I want to show her the other druid subclass that was in here real quick. And we're not going to go into it full detail. You can watch the episode on that one. But Neko, say hello to the Circle of the Old Ways druid.
Otherwise known as Hi, I speak for the trees.
Yes.
Okay, Bloomer.
Well done. Well done. No, you gotta clap. You gotta clap for me. Good
I
job.
won't. I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not gonna laugh and support that pun. I'm not doing it. But
Really quick, I'm gonna need to step away for a little bit. I need to take care of one last little thing before we get to our actual game for tonight.
All right, sounds good. You do that. I'm gonna go over this real quick with Neko before we go to the last class of the day. So, Neko, this is what this class is briefly. This is a druid that specializes in doing one thing, and that's hitting people with a club. That's all this druid does is hit people with club. Because all of its abilities are based on the cantrip Shillelagh, and when it activates Shillelagh, it takes on wild shape form of a tree, which gives it more protection, more damage, more hit stuff with club. It's basically a barbarian druid. And this thing is absolutely broken.
Oh god, yes, a barbarian old one druid? Jesus Christ, like that would oh god, yes. I want to play this so bad.
Neko, let me just tell you one of the abilities. One, okay? This is the very first one you get before you even get to anything else with this. And this is not even the main feature, okay? Bogan Branch. Even the humblest of your weapons channels the might of the old forest. When you cast Shillelagh, you can cause a shield made of gnarled wood to grow into your free hand if you have one. No action required to don it, and it vanishes when the spell ends. You can't be forced to drop the affected weapon unless you have the incapacitated weapon or incapacitate condition or the shield. Additionally, for the duration of the spell, you ignore somatic components on your druid spells, and the weapon enhanced becomes a druidic focus.
For those of you who are unaware what that means, you don't need to use components for your abilities, and most of your spells now become casting just with words.
At 3rd level, Neko, that means Hold Person is a verbal spell.
Neko, if you can hear us, we need you to respond, because I don't know if your mic cut out again.
No. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm listening, and I'm just like, so when are we getting the book? Like,
We have the book.
I got shit to plan.
We have the
Oh,
book.
really?
We're looking at the book right now.
Yeah.
Can you send me the PDF if like you don't mind if I look at
It's
it?
on D&D Beyond. I gave you access to the account. Remember to make hydrangea?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, fuck yes. I'm gonna look this up and if we ever do Calby's in the waiting room. If we ever do have a break and it's my turn to DM, I want to do this.
All right, but before we go into our last class of the night, I'm gonna briefly pull in our last guest, Calby, because Calby wants to join. Calby, welcome. We are talking. We're talking D&D subclasses. We got one last one to take a look at, and for those of you who are already watching this episode right now, I just want to reiterate, this is all available on D&D Beyond. We have purchased the books, so everyone in our group has access to it. But I tell you this right now, this is a broken-ass class. I love it, and all you need to do is run up and hit people with a club. That's all you got to do, and then it just
Wait, which class is it?
It's a Circle of the Old Ways druid, which is basically...
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Shillelagh Sweater. Got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Also, Neko,
I had a druid that was that class.
I'm going to terrify you just really quickly with the 3rd level spells that you can guess that are just verbal with the first ability. Moonbeam and Pass Without Trace become verbal only spells.
Oh.
I think she's focusing on what she can do with this class, and I am immediately on board with this.
I really do want to like see what I can do with this.
It's pretty self-contained, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this class, the druids, I'm just going to say this. Druids often are typecast in WotC books. This
Be right back.
this
I'm
book
cooking dinner.
Okay.
This book looked at that typecast and went, "That's cute. How about fuck you?"
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, folks, we only have a little bit of time left, so we're going to go into our last class of the night. And tonight we're going to be looking at the fighter subclass, which is, surprisingly, the Death Knight. AKA the Borrow Guards. The Borrow Guards are warriors who harness the power of the dead, taking upon themselves spectral and energies normally forbidden to the living. Some Borrow Guards are those returned from the dead through magical miracles or the whims of the gods. Others stand at the doors of the sacred crypt. And what that basically means is at level 3, you house the new lingering remnants of souls long departed, and their knowledge and experience imbue you with necromantic energies. It is represented by Dwagar dice, which fuel powers that you have from this subclass. The Beauregard Dwagar dice table shows the dice size and the number of dice you have when you reach certain fighter levels. Alright, so at level 3, your dice are D6s, and they have 4 of them. At 5, they have like D8s, and you have 6 of them. And so far, that it looks like it caps out at about level 17 when you get access to D12s, and you get 12 of them. And, oh boy, there's quite a lot here, actually. I'm not going to lie. So, what can you do with the dice? Well, some of your powers expend a Dwager die and specialize in a featured description. You can't use the power if it requires you to use a die when all your Dwager dies are expended. You gain 1 expended Dwager die when you finish a short rest, and you regain all of them when you finish a long rest. The save DC for your powers is 8 plus your Constitution modifier and your proficiency bonus. Dark Rider. As a bonus action, you manifest a ghostly steed that you can only mount. The steed uses the Warhorse stat block, but its creature type is undead. It has resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. It can only take the dash, disengage, and dodge action. When the steed takes the dash action, you can expend and roll a Dwager die. During the movement of that action, the steed's speed is increased by the number of feet equal to 5 times the number rolled. The steed vanishes after 1 hour, or if it's reduced to 0 hit points, if you have the incapacitated condition, or if you die. Once you take this bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest, or unless you expend a Dwager die to restore the use of it. Graveguard. When you take damage, you can take a reaction to expend and roll a Dwager die. Reduce the damage you've taken by the number rolled plus your Constitution modifier. And Soul Reaper. When you would take the attack action, you can forgo one of your attacks to magically call forth ghostly hands around a creature for 60 feet of yourself. Expend and roll a Dwager die. The target, you must make a strength saving throw. On a failed saving throw, it takes necrotic damage equal to the number rolled on the Dwager die plus your Constitution modifier, and has the grappled condition. For 1 minute. On a successful save, it takes half as much melee damage only. Oh, wow, that is so much to go over in such a short amount of time.
It very much feels like this is the class that just goes, I'm undead, and I fucking own it.
I think it also is for the dice goblins who have all those dice and never get to use them. Now they have an option.
Yeah, they're just going, thank you. Thank you for letting me use my die.
But each of these is pretty decent. Dark Rider just basically gives you a warhorse that you can ride around on. Graveguard just is simple damage reduction, and Soul Reaper lets you potentially grapple someone and do multiple damage. Now, and on any other class, I would say this is kind of wasted, but on a fighter, this is they get like 5 attacks a turn anyway, so expending one of them just to capture them in ghost hands, that's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah. Like this is the epitome of just like, come to me.
Come to me and be trapped in the up. Now Armistice wants to join in. All right, hang on one second. All right,
D&D.
well, we're not there yet. We're wrapping up the episode real quick. I'm gonna speed through the fighter one because obviously the fighter one is the fighter. We all know what fighters do. They get multiple attacks per turn and hit people with big swords. Siphoning souls. You capture the fleeting essence of departing souls to gain knowledge and prowess. You gain the following benefits. Mortal Coil. When an enemy that isn't a construct or undead within 30 feet of you dies, you can take a reaction to regain 1 Okay, that's just fucking broken. No. No, okay, look. So let me get this straight. If anything dies within 30 feet of you, you get the stupid dice back?
Yeah. And then when you make an ability check, you can expend and roll one of those dice and add the number to the die, which starts out as a D6 and ends at a D12.
This is for dice goblins. This class is the dice goblin class.
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
a dice goblin. I don't use it though. I should.
All right. Well, I like Mortal Coil. Level 7 it basically guarantees that you're never going to run out of dice as long as there's cannon fodder nearby. Great. Because
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, because like here's the thing, it doesn't say you can only use it a certain amount of times per rest. You just need to take a reaction. So as long as you have the reaction, you get the die back.
Like, fuck you, I'm going to do this anyway.
Then at level 10, we get the upgraded versions of the Dweger die abilities. Phantom Charger. The ghostly steed of your dark right power now ignores difficult terrain. Additionally, when you take the dash action or dodge or disengage, you can spin and roll a Dweger die. The steed magically teleports with you if you're riding it to an unoccupied... Why? Why does it have to teleport?
Why
Because
not?
fuck you.
Also, hi, I'm back.
Welcome back, Cross. Each creature of your choice within 10 feet of your steed when it appears must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, taking necrotic damage equal to the number roll on the Dweger die plus your Constitution modifier on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Okay, so this one basically means I teleport somewhere, you take necrotic damage to me, and if you fail the saving throw, then you have to take half of it. So it's just guaranteed damage. So...
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Death Kneel. When you use your Graveguard power in response to a creature damaging you, the creature takes psychic damage equal to half the amount of damage the power reduced.
So basically, you use your Graveguard going, you're not going to hurt me this much, but I'm going to hurt you half as much for what you tried to do.
So this is screaming like the Illithid powers from Baldur's Gate 3, because that's psychic backlash, basically, if they cast a spell. This one is physical, but the other one is magical.
No, this is psychic damage.
No. Psychic Backlash is an ability in Baldur's Gate 3 where if you cast a spell, you can you can use your reaction to deal psychic damage to them as well. But they have to be casting a spell to do it. In this version, they just have to hit you with this weapon, and then they take half the damage that was reduced. So there is a world where...
Let me just check something.
It's the activation conditions.
No, Garson. The condition for Graveguard is only when you take damage, period.
No, I'm saying compared to Psychic Backlash from Baldur's Gate 3, the damage activation requirements are different.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. And then Spectral Shrieking. When a creature grappled by your Soul Reaper power starts its turn, it takes psychic damage equal to your proficiency bonus. When it does, you can take a reaction to expend and roll a Dweger die, adding the number to the Wow. Fuck. So it's just guaranteed at least 4 damage if they're grappled at max proficiency. And then you can roll a d12 and hit them for 16 damage, and there's nothing they can do because they're grappled.
And then level 15 is Gravelord. So when you use Dark Rider, you can let a creature mount with you. And then when you expend a Dagger die during the steed's dash action, it can move through solid objects and creatures as if they were difficult terrain, along with any riders. If the steed ends its turn inside a object, all a solid object. It and any riders take 1d10 force damage and
Okay.
are shunted to the nearest occupied space. So you literally just go, fuck you, walls.
Hold on, but wait a minute. But the last ability says they ignore difficult terrain, so does that mean they don't have to worry about it anymore?
No. Basically, it's saying it ignores actual difficult terrain. This is as if it was.
Oh,
difficult
okay,
terrain.
okay, that's fair. Then Spectral Shield. When your Graveguard power, choose one of the triggering damage types. You have resistance to that damage type, including the triggering damage, until the start of your next turn. It even does it against force damage. The force can't be stopped.
And then Death Grip. A creature grappled by your Soul Reaper power has the restrain condition.
Okay, and the last one we're just going to go over quickly is Might of the Necropolis. Your command, the secret impaired to you, is absolute. You gain the following benefit. Eternal
Are we
Vigil.
talking about warlocks with necromancy? I just got
No,
that
no,
one,
no.
sorry.
This is fighters with necromancy. Warlocks with necromancy are down the
I
road.
want to be a fighter with necromancy. Hold on.
Let's go.
Well, this is a
Pay
fighter with
attention.
necromancy.
No. I want to be a necromantic fighter.
Well, that's what this
I
guy
wanna
is.
Kill people with one
Yeah.
punch. I want to be
And then-
Saitama.
Yeah, and then there is Eternal Vigil, which means you no longer suffer the effects of aging, you can't be magically aged, and you don't die of old age. In addition, you no longer require air, food, drink, or sleep. So you basically just become a non-undead undead.
Yeah,
You become an elf.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
I want to play one of these. Garson,
And then
help
there's-
me build the character.
All right.
And then there's Restless Dead, which is going to terrify Garson in his sleep.
Oh,
When you roll initiative, if you have fewer than 3 Draugr dice, you regain expended die until you have 3.
and by this
Amazing.
level, they're okay. And by 17, they're D12, so you get 3 D12s of abilities back. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, I think it's safe to assume that. Okay. Okay. So I'm a little disappointed though. There is no flavor roll for the Dweger Guard, but I mean the Borrow Guard just needs to be like protecting an undead tomb. That's kind of what they're known for. But their lore is like already kind of rolled into how their character is made, so I can kind of forgive
Yeah.
it for this one.
Yeah, this one is very much the epitome of damn, there's no flavor to like roll for, but at the same time, the very class itself, you'd really just be rolling for the type of tomb you would be covering,
Yeah.
which you can kind of think for yourself about.
Yeah, I love the fact
Yeah.
that this one just screams, I'm from an 80s heavy metal, I'm from an 80s heavy metal album art, and none of you can stop me.
Headbang, 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 headbang.
Alright. So look, I'm gonna be 100% honest, I know we kind of sped through the fighters, but there really wasn't much to talk about with this guy, because it's essentially the Dweger die stuff, and then the 3 abilities that trigger from Dweger die, and then every one of them gets more Dweger die, and then when you hit level 18, you get 3 more Dweger die. It's just rolling dice, the class, but it's also a fighter, and fighters are notorious for being kind of basic, in which they just deal more attacks. Which I think so for any other class, this would be useless, but for this one, the Death Grip ability is probably game-breaking, because you have like 5 attacks a turn.
And you just go, die, 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 die. Who are you to do this? I'm literally in charge of death. Fuck you.
You know, I hate to say
I'm
this.
death. I'm Death's HR.
Okay, I hate to say this, but this is 100% true. If you play this class, there's a non 0% chance that you're going to be able to perform the Omni Slash attack from Final Fantasy, because you have the restraint and you go, now time to unleash my full power. Action Surge, 5 attacks in a turn! And just go boom, 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 boom. And just deal, and then you use the Soul Reaper ability to deal more necrotic damage. So, wow, basic but powerful. That's the best way I can describe it.
Flail, flail, flail.
Also, Garson,
Yes.
I'm about to make you really fucking angry, because you're more right than you realize. Cloud
Flail,
is
flail,
a Barrow Guard. She's protecting Eris' soul from within the church.
I can't argue with it. Oh my god, I can't argue with that, and it hurts. All right, guys.
All
All right. Does anyone have anything they want to add to the borrow guard before we get ready for D&D proper?
Yes.
What's that,
How do
Calby?
you borrow a guard?
It's not borrow, it's bower, you know.
It,
Okay. What
that's what
did
we
I
call
Uh,
pun there,
yep.
Garson.
Yes.
heavy metal
You
fighter.
You missed Cloud. You missed Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably be the monk.
Hey, I got a good question for y'all though.
What's that?
Yeah.
What do you call a bull in stockings?
I don't know.
Full stock.
No. Kawasaki's.
Ow, 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 ow. Okay, that would hurt. All right, folks.
Oh,
Kawasaki.
that's a deep cut.
That's it. All right, folks. We're gonna end the episode here, because I think we're next week we're gonna go over the monk, the paladin, the ranger, and if we have time, the rogue. Because I love the fact that the rogue class is just called sinner, just sinner. It doesn't have. It's not clever. It's not like bending luck or anything. It's just called sinner. So I really hope we can get to that one next week. Oh, and then also looks like the ranger has a big old shadow dog with him.
Here's your puppy.
Also,
That out.
also the monk is literally the sentence, "I'm sick and I'm making that everyone else's problem."
Behold, Ratman! All right, folks, thank you for joining us for this episode of for Forgotten Table Tales. I am Garson, your DM and your host. I want to thank all the guest stars who showed up today, because I love it when you guys show up and give your opinions on it. I know we had a little bit of technical stuff in the center, but hey, we'll be all right. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and follow me at Garson Pavel VT on YouTube. We upload content a lot throughout the week. At this point, I'm not even going to give a number because we just upload whenever we got something to upload. And if you are sticking around, you can follow me at twitch.tv/GarsonBavel. And you can also follow Chitter at twitch.tv/ChitterCharmer. And you can follow Calby at twitch.tv CalbyChaos at VT. And you can follow Cross at
Cowbell Chaos.
Cowbell Chaos VT. Sorry about that. You can follow Calby at Cowbell Chaos at VT at twitch.tv. Cross you can follow as Rune. I'm sorry. How is your character? What is your Twitch?
I'm gonna put that on the side. I have a Tumblr. Follow me on Tumblr.
All right, go ahead, follow Cross on his Tumblr. And lastly,
Yeah.
and then you can follow Amasis on twitch.tv/AmasisVT. And Neffy, I don't really know what Neffy uses to follow, but you can follow Neffy on wherever she.
You can follow me on Twitter.
Mhm.
I don't really stream on Twitch or anything else. My username is, let me see.
She takes commissions.
Yes, I take artist commission. I am an artist.
Oopsie.
She
You can
does
find me
amazing
on
artwork.
Twitter. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Potato Gremlin. I will just
Potato.
fucking.
Potato.
How do I share my username?
You can just post it. You can just post it in the side chat.
Okay, there is no side chat for here, is there?
There's the chat.
Or you could DM it to Garson.
Yep. And I'll put it in the video afterwards. All right, folks. That's everything here. We're gonna head on out, but we will see you all in. Well, if you're watching this live, you're gonna be seeing us in about 15 minutes while we get prepared for D&D. And if you are watching this live, shame on you. You should be doing that. We put effort into this. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching Forgotten Table Tales. We will be back next week, and you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.